Tell me if you heard this before. Super Mario Sunshine is one of the greatest Mario games. Or Super Mario Sunshine is one of the worst 3D Mario games. This game is probably the most divisive Mario game in the series to this day, and I aim to find out why with this video. I have fond memories of playing this game when I first got it as a kid. I honestly never understood why people hated the game, so I was curious to see if my opinions were going to change when playing it for the Super Mario Anthology series on this channel. I will say this is probably one of the best looking games on the Gamecube. The character models have received massive improvements over Mario 64, but not everything is perfect. One of the more unrefined models in my opinion are the new Piantas. Sometimes you can see the polygons sticking out of them. The environments though are absolutely gorgeous. I love the level of detail in all the worlds you travel to, whether it's the lighting of the sunset on Serena Beach or how Mario stands out in the darker areas. What muddies the look of all these locales are the goop that covers them. I'm not a big fan of it because of how out of place it looks. It honestly seems the developers just pasted it in these levels without any real thought. One of the best looking aspects of the game is the water. It looks amazing considering Sunshine was released in the early 2000s, and I'm not talking about the water that comes out of the new hose Mario uses. You can even see the reflection of the environments off the surface of the water. It matches up pretty well with even today's standards of graphics. The soundtrack also gets an upgrade this time around. All of the arrangements have a more realistic sound to them because of the new instruments being used. They're not live, but it still works, and in my opinion, the music in Sunshine is catchier than it is in Mario 64. Even the more atmospheric tunes are memorable, like when running around Delfino Plaza. Sure, the melody is a little more complex than the original Mario theme, but it's easy to start tapping your foot to. One thing I neglected to mention in my Mario 64 review was the addition of voice acting. There's definitely more of it this time around because of the new cinematic cutscenes. Peach sounds exactly like you expect her to, and Toadsworth just cracks me up every time I hear him speak. But Bowser?
Mario! How dare you disturb my family vacation?
Yeah, it doesn't sound anything like I imagined. I pictured a deep voice, not whatever that was. With cutscenes being added, that means the story is bigger. Well, for a Mario game that is. Mario and the gang are traveling to Isle Delfino to have a nice, relaxing vacation when suddenly... After crashing, Mario looks for some help and comes across Flood, which is basically a super hose. He cleans up the airstrip and gets thrown into jail for being a good tourist. It turns out that the citizens of the island are accusing Mario, who just arrived by the way, of polluting the entire island with icky paint-like goop that moves. After a totally fair trial of no evidence or a lawyer, Mario is tasked with cleaning the entire island. Literally 5 minutes after getting out of jail, a clone of Mario called Shadow Mario reveals himself and kidnaps a defenseless Peach, who doesn't know how to move her legs. Now, you would think this would clear Mario of all the charges, but it doesn't. The citizens still hate the guy, even though everyone is an eyewitness to the event. Peach ends up getting kidnapped for a second time and gets taken to a theme park where the biggest bombshell to ever grace the Mario series is revealed. Bowser has a son, and Peach thinks it might be hers? Well, at least that's what the tone of her voice sounds like.
Mama, Peach, I'm your mama?
Bowser Jr. escapes to a volcano, and after Mario beats up a small child for the 8th time, proceeds to finally face off against Bowser, followed by the death of Flood. But not really. I do like how there is more of a story to this game than Mario 64, but it's not really good. It doesn't have to be since Mario games are played for their gameplay. Surprisingly, Sunshine doesn't really build off of the groundwork that Mario 64 started, except for the hub world. Unlike Peach's castle, Delfino Plaza is built more like a level from Mario 64. It's a fully developed town full of locals talking crap about Mario, food stands, and boats leaving the ports. Honestly, the only real similarities between the two is the fact they're both used to travel to different worlds and collecting stars, or in this case, shine sprites. Mario still retains most of his moves from Mario 64. He can still do the triple jump, side flip, and ground pound. He now has a new spin jump that keeps him in the air for a longer period of time than a regular jump, and it's incredibly useful. Mario's dive move has even received an upgrade because of how fast he travels when using it on water. It's great that you can make a little puddle anytime to utilize this ability with the addition of Flood. Flood is the main gimmick of Sunshine. Think of it as a permanent power-up. While playing, you will unlock new nozzles to use. The basic one shoots water that can damage enemies, the hover nozzle allows you to stay in the air for an extended period of time, the rocket nozzle shoots you high in the air, and the turbo nozzle gives Mario an extra boost of speed. Most of these upgrades are very situational depending on the shine sprite you're collecting. I never use the rocket nozzle or turbo nozzle outside of the hub world. You will mainly use these power-ups to collect certain shine sprites that require them, like rocketing to the top of towers or to break down doors. This still changes up the game significantly compared to Mario 64. Combining the abilities of FLUDD with the movement options at your disposal can sometimes break the game. The most broken combination is the hover nozzle and the spin jump. It is really easy to cover a lot of ground with this combo. For example, the intended way to get across this gap here is to be chucked all the way across. But with the spin jump and the hover nozzle, it's not needed at all. You can even wall jump and activate the hover nozzle at the highest point to get over or on a ledge. Now, someone could say this makes the game easy, which is true. If you did some of these missions the intended way, it is harder, but not by much. Certain missions in the game will have Shadow Mario take FLUDD away and makes the player do some good old-fashioned platforming. Although, most of the challenges are pretty easy. The difficult sections of the game come from the more annoying missions, which I'll get into later. Like Mario 64, Sunshine has a total of 120 shine sprites to obtain. Once again, it is not necessary to collect them all to beat the game. The only required shines are episodes 1 through 7 in each level, even though there are 8 episodes total. Despite having the same amount of collectibles as Mario 64, there are fewer levels in Sunshine. For those who have never played the game might be wondering why there are a similar amount of shine sprites then. That's because a good chunk of them come from secrets within each level and collecting blue coins. I didn't mention it in my Mario 64 review, but 100%ing the game is a ton of fun. This one, however, where do I begin? Before getting too negative, I will say the level designs are still creative and take full advantage of the island setting. You will travel through harbors, hotels, beaches, and even amusement parks. Too bad the quality of the levels are dragged down by questionable decisions on the developer's part. Alright, here we go. This game is extremely tedious to play through when trying to 100% the game, and playing through it normally. Like Mario 64, there are similar missions shared with each world, like collecting red coins and 100 coins. What makes it dull in Sunshine is the overabundance of these types of objectives. Every level has 2 red coin missions in them, and some can even go up to 4. Sure, each level is different, but having so many of them is mentally draining and feels like it's incredibly lazy on the developer's part. The game also loves to throw the same bosses at you constantly. In the beginning, you will face off against the Goop Piranha Plant to unlock levels, Shadow Mario in all 8 levels, and a giant blooper in 2 separate levels. The worst part about the 100 coin shine sprite is the fact it can only be completed in certain episodes. It's frustrating when you're playing through a mission only to realize that you're playing the wrong one. I shouldn't have to look up the correct episode to complete this task. That's not all though. There are secret shine sprites in every level, and it's not obvious at all where some of them are. There are actually 2 shines to collect in the episodes where Shadow Mario takes FLUDD away. One for normally completing it, and the other for completing a challenge. Guess what challenge that is? Collecting 8 red coins. There are also some that you will find through sheer dumb luck. One of the levels has you spray the sun in order to collect a shine sprite. The other will have you spray a wall at the bottom of these sand stairs. There's even a few where you have to spray a gold bird. As stated earlier, every level has you beat Shadow Mario as well. This means you have to fight him constantly to collect not only shine sprites, but the unlockable nozzles and Yoshi as well. It's annoying to complete the same tasks over and over and over and over again. The worst part is the more annoying shine sprites you have to obtain. Peanut Park has you attempt to pop balloons with the worst aiming I have ever seen in a game. Serena Beach has you clean the entire area under a time limit. Pianta Village makes you avoid burning goop, and any of the Noki Bay's swimming levels because of the god-awful controls while collecting more red coins. Some of Delfino's shine sprites are stress-inducing as well. One will place Mario in a pachinko machine to collect 8 red coins, but collecting coins isn't the bad part. The physics suck and are totally off. It comes down to sheer dumb luck on whether or not Mario successfully makes it into the hole or not. Another requires you to take Yoshi to a far-off island by riding a boat to a deserted island, then a wooden tower, and then another island with a pipe that is covered in goop Yoshi can only get rid of. Also, don't fall in the water or else you'll have to do it all over again. The mission it takes you to is terrible. You have to navigate a lily pad to collect red coins on poison water. My advice is to get good at using Flood's hover nozzle and just run along the wooden border. Oh, but that's not all. As mentioned earlier, there are not as many levels in Sunshine. To make up for this, you have to collect 240 blue coins to pay a Tanuki for shine sprites he is hogging. There are a total of 30 blue coins in each individual level. To be fair, collecting these are not as annoying as I remember. On average, I was able to collect 25 per level. However, this doesn't excuse one of the biggest grievances I have with these, and that's having blue coins locked behind certain episodes. It works the same way as the 100 coin shine sprite. If you do not have the correct episode selected, some of these blue coins won't appear. Some of the blue coins can't even be collected until you unlock Yoshi. This makes backtracking more annoying than it was in Mario 64. At least in that game, it was only for a few stars. I did say the level designs were great, and that's still true, but when you're collecting the blue coins, the levels feel completely different compared to ignoring them entirely for the objective. Most of these levels are pretty linear and not very open at all. If you're playing through Sunshine casually, the game doesn't give you an incentive to explore. After selecting an episode, it shows the exact location of the shine sprite. This makes all of the levels feel smaller than they really are. All of these problems make the game drag. No matter what way you decide to play the game, it's a draining experience. I have never gotten this upset or bored at the game before. The freedom that Mario 64 offered to alleviate some of these issues are gone. You cannot just collect a shine sprite from a different episode like you could previously. By the end of the game, I did manage to collect 116 shine sprites, and I was pretty impressed that I did that well. But with all of this said, do I dislike the game now? Yes. Do I dislike it more than Super Mario Bros. 2? No, but only because there are a few moments of fun to be had with Sunshine if you don't 100% it. I don't put this game in the Gamecube that often to replay it, and now I understand why. Super Mario Sunshine has lost all of the praise I used to give it for its gameplay. It's sad to say, but I have my nostalgia goggles on for this one. But what do I know? I'm just some random guy on the internet who decided to review every mainline Mario game. If you want to see more game reviews, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, and I'll see you next time.